implements XLS65 single asset vaults and XLS66 institutional lending protocol need to be passed before the reverse carry trade. XRPL cannot natively support borrowing, interest spreads, or structured carried positions. It does not. It does not need to be passed before the reverse carry trade. We already have the DEX with the implementation of 3.2.0. It fixes a lot of the fees and the other issues that were there with the AMMs. The AMMs will help facilitate currency exchange and many of the other things that are out there, as long as they're issued assets on the XRPL. So, we've seen ROUSD, we've seen Brazil issue their currency on the XRPL. I think that Ripple will probably issue the euro and the pound. The yen, might come from SBI or the Bank of Japan, depending on, if they do actually roll in their central bank and, do what they've said they're going to do and utilize digital assets to be able to restructure the debt. So all that, as long as there's payment channels, and we need an implicit or explicit subnet. That is the missing link. Ripple does have a patent for that. Bob Way actually filed for the patent for that when he was working there a long time ago. So again, a lot of this stuff's been in the works for a long time. I think Ripple has a repository of amendments that will continue to compound on the DeFi aspect of the XRPL. If you want to go research that, you can see that there's amendments all the way out to like 100 something. And you can see what some of those are. Multi-purpose token is a huge piece of tokenization of stocks on the XRPL. It acts as kind of like an NFT, but a fungible NFT. So you can have different voting rights and different things associated with that token, depending on what type of share class you own. So private equity in particular, and people issuing their original stock on chain, I think will end up on the XRPL over the long term. Now that's not to say that Canton and Stellar and Ondo and Securitize won't have their place. They've already seen major partnerships with the exchanges for stocks that exist today. But stocks that are issued native on chain, I think probably end up on the XRPL with the multi-purpose token. If there is another network that has a multi-purpose token, I'm not aware of it. That's the first time I've ever heard of that acronym or that term, when we proposed that amendment and it was passed. So I could be wrong about that. Again, I kind of have blinders on a little bit because this is what I do on a daily basis. I, watch mainly the XRPL and the updates there. I'm not so involved with, some of the other networks that are out there. But as far as I'm aware, it's the only network that has that particular function.